Street cred sports. Street cred sports. I'm crossing over. I'm Euro stepping.
Hello, this is Keenan, the Street Cred Sports Training. This will be a very special episode. It's something that's been in the making. It's really hard trying to get my people that I work with on the show. I almost be wondering if they don't want to be on the show because, a few weeks ago I had L on and y'all didn't hear him say anything. Maybe at the end he might have whispered something, but you didn't really hear him say anything. So I decided to expand my horizons and make this kind of a different type of podcast today. An episode rather. So who I have is Miss April May Cage, my lovely wife, who is, among other things, a part of the business. She works for me, and she's has a stake in the business as in the ownership. Not an owner, but she's high up in the food chain. She also happens to be a New Orleans Saints fan. So I'm bringing her on not to really talk about, the business. We can do that another time. This is pretty much about our New Orleans Saints. Since football season is starting in preseason, New Orleans Saints are going to be playing this weekend. So I thought I'd bring her on. So Miss April, why don't you say hi to everybody?
Hi, podcast audience. Happy to be here.
If you hear some rustling and some chomping, we just got some lunch. We're finished. Well, I finished mine. She eat like a bird, so she's finishing hers. It was Cane's. I don't know about y'all, but it's something about Cane's. Now, Boss used to be my thing, but they kind of fell off with their fries. And Cane's has been consistent, not a long line, so. Shout out to Raising Cane's. They're not
a sponsor.
Yeah, they're not a sponsor. I ain't trying to get no sponsorship. Look, it's my damn podcast. If I want to say shout out to somebody, I can say shout out to somebody. So let's get this party started. First, I just want to ask you, because I was supposed to bring you on after we got back from Vegas. So why don't you tell the audience about Vegas?
So Vegas was a lot of fun, with the exception of the heat. I wasn't expecting it to be that hot. El Paso is pretty hot, and we've been battling these like over 100-degree days for the past
4 years.
4 years.
4 years straight.
Yeah, it feels like it. They call it the Sun City, and the sun and the heat is just miserable. So here I am thinking, go to Vegas, go on vacation, have a little breakaway. Not really realizing how hot it was going to be. And it was pretty bad. Yeah,
it was bad. I learned something about my lovely wife that I didn't know. My baby don't do well in heat.
Not well at all. Or at least maybe when I was younger. I don't know what it is.
I would even dispute the fact that when you was younger you did well in heat, because my baby had heat exhaustion. I had to go into my CPR mode and fan, and air was on, and she was sweating, and her sweat had sweat. That's how bad it was. Her sweat had sweat, and I was like, damn. She's like, I can't. It's hot. And for those of you who don't know my baby, she is dramatic. So, a pin pinch is like an arm being cut off when she talks about it. But she wasn't exaggerating. She did have the symptoms. And the only reason I know is because I've had to take CPR classes and stuff and, kind of understand the symptoms. So she was suffering from heat exhaustion, and I learned my lesson that my baby don't do well at heat. I probably should have understood it, because when she comes up here to work with me, it could be 86 and I'm feeling good, and she's like, oh my God, it's hot in here. So then I got to turn the AC on. But I've learned my lesson. So you like Vegas?
So heat aside, Vegas was a great experience. Going to the NBA Summer League it was a great experience. I feel like it was a lot more I guess impressive than what I thought that it would be. We got to see several games. We got to see I got to see my Pelicans. Go Pals. I'm not a huge I'm married to like a basketball person, but it's not my like favorite sport. But I'll always root for any team that's New Orleans. So
Wait. Favorite sport? You say it like you enjoy sports. You don't even like sports.
wait. I love football.
Well, yeah, now, but
football, yeah.
But you used to be like, "What is this?" It's a football, sweetie. Oh, what do you do with it? You throw it.
Yeah, definitely no interest in sports until about this. I'd say the past like 10 years. I've really, kind of gotten a little more interested for sure. But basketball is the one that I always say I'm gonna really start paying more attention to and getting into. So being able to see the Pelicans play at the summer league was pretty fun, and it was in the smaller gym, so we got to sit pretty close, and I got pictures, and I thought that was really awesome.
Yeah, ran into a lot of NBA personnel, and everybody over there is 6'8", 6'9". So we actually saw Tracy McGrady on our way when we were parking. But yeah, everything was good. So she had fun in Vegas. So let's get to your football acumen. You are a bona fide New Orleans Saints fan, right?
I would say I am, yes, a diehard New Orleans Saints, Who Dat Nation fan girl.
Okay, well, shout out to Who Dat Nation. I mean, from her. Look, I don't follow a particular sports team. I love matchups. So I like matchups. Now, I'll get into that later on. So my question would be, how did you start liking the Saints?
So, as I said before, I've never really been into sports, and when I would get asked like football team or anything, the first thing that I'm not going to say most, but a lot of women is like, who has the best colors? So I always would like a team based on the colors. So back, in younger days, I would say I like the Dolphins because of the turquoise. I like Minnesota Vikings because of the purple, not knowing anything about what they were doing, why they were there, or anything like that. So as I've been with my husband, who's not just into basketball, but also into all sports, I would say. And of course, it started with Super Bowl parties. So every year, Super Bowl comes around and we go to a party. And so I kind of was like, this is exciting. Super Bowl, this is fun. All this good food, everybody gets together, everybody's happy, just having a great time. So I started to think like, maybe I need to pick a football team. Maybe it's time. So keeping that in the back of my mind, it was Hurricane Katrina happened, and I'm a very, I don't know, how would you describe me? My husband calls me emotional. I get very,
she's very emotional, sensitive, all of that. She's in tune with the earth, I guess you could say.
But when things happen, I'm a very empathetic person. So when Hurricane Katrina happened, and it really affected me emotionally, and watching the TV, and you can ask my husband, I was glued to the footage of what was happening. I was upset, angered, hurt, and I kept telling him, like, I wish there was a way that I could go there and help people. And so seeing that, and then seeing a community pull together the way that New Orleans did, and I'm getting emotional just talking about it, but the way that they pulled together as a community, despite everything that came up against them, it just resonated with me. So I don't even know if I knew that there was a team New Orleans Saints. So my husband was like, you know what? Well, why don't you pick the Saints as your team?
I did that?
Yes, I think you did. I think you did because you knew
What the hell was I
you knew like how I felt. So that's the main thing. But rewind to my younger years. My grandma, who was one of the very few people in my life who had been there for me. She's passed since. She loved New Orleans. She would talk to me about New Orleans and tell me that I had to visit New Orleans once in my life. She loved jazz music. She was in a jazz club. She had the umbrellas, and every Sunday it was like jazz day. And the food, she would tell me about the food and how good the food was. So going through all this, watching New Orleans, seeing the community, and then you telling me I need to pick a football team, it was just, okay, you know what? It's New Orleans Saints. But keep in mind, I still didn't know anything about football at that point.
She didn't, because he was like, well, I like them because they jerseys look this color. I was like, look, I'm not going to sit up here and give you all the information on the team just based on their uniforms.
I mean, and I'll stand by this. They're my team, but I think the New Orleans Saints has the best football uniforms in the NFL. Probably gonna get hate for that. I don't care.
No, I can't co-sign on that. But I'm trying.
Who do you think has better?
That's what I'm trying to think. I'll think as we go through, and maybe I have an answer to that, or maybe I might go through and say, you know what, you could be on something. Okay, all right. So the great thing about you being a football fan is that, you've learned a lot about the game. It actually is kind of went, in a direction that I didn't think it went, because you're kind of psychotic during the season. When your team is playing. I actually don't even like to be at the house when you're watching the game, because, she be cussing. I mean, like, down and dirty, old school cussing.
I might say some words that he didn't even know could come out of my mouth.
I was like, whoa. So, and then we had the dogs. So I feel bad because I'm usually here doing training. And, I sometimes go home and it's like they run to me really like, hey, do you know what she was saying today? I was scared for my life. We've been trying to be outside this whole time. But then she dressed the dogs up. Well, she dressed one of them up.
Well, they're getting uniforms this year too. Yeah, both of them. They're getting uniforms. They're going to be in it every Sunday. I have a funny story about one Sunday that I was, as he says, the neighbors probably hear me. I don't know, but I was screaming and yelling, and we have a glass break sensor in the house with our alarm system. Well, I screamed so loud that I set off the glass break sensor. So it was pretty bad.
So all right, let's get to it. Let's get to something real. We talk about how she enjoys the game, right? And she always wants me to be there to watch the game with her. Well, during the playoffs, I don't know, 3-4 years ago maybe, New Orleans had played Minnesota, and they played them in Minnesota. So they drive down, they kick the field goal, right? They kick the field goal to put the score up by like 4 or 6 or something. And it's under like 20-30 seconds in the game. So then they kick it off. Minnesota not wanting to use time. I believe that I want to say they let it go in the end zone. They started at their 25 to preserve the little time they have. I look over and I'm like, this game is over. So she's excited like it's over. I was like,
no,
yeah.
I was still nervous.
She was nervous,
because when it comes to my team,
but she was
things can happen.
Hey, but she was excited.
I was super excited.
So little did I know that you was gonna have to do, and he was a rookie, and I felt for the kid, because he makes one of the weirdest angles and weirdest decisions to try to tackle, and it looks like he pulled up once he realized, I think maybe he didn't want to get a penalty. I don't know. I've never really listened to see like what was really going on in his head. But he in any case, he doesn't go for the ball. He doesn't really tackle him, and he allows him to catch it, and he runs it back for the touchdown, right? So I'm watching this saying to myself, get the blank out of here. And she's sitting there and she has this smile, but it's almost like she can't really.
It wasn't a smile.
No. Initially, it was a smile. It was like she knew the game was over, but she couldn't process the fact that what had happened. So she was kind of like watching, and then as he ran into the end zone, and he was like, "That's a touchdown," and she says, "No!" And I'm like, God, I can't believe that. And she turns around and she says, almost word for word, "It's your fucking fault. You told me that the game was over." And I'm looking at her like, sweetie, the game was over. I said, look at how Minnesota is celebrating. Look at how New Orleans is looking. It's complete shock. Nobody would have believed that play would have happened like that.
It's gone down in history. It has gone down. It's the Minnesota Miracle.
I call it the Minnesota Massacre.
Yeah, it wasn't a massacre.
Because they massacred her. They massacred their hopes.
It was one of the saddest days. I still can't even look at the video of it because my heart is broken. And the reason why I blamed him was because I know my team. They stress me out. And so I never, ever, ever feel that a game is over until the clock is at 0. And when he said the game was over, even though there was, I don't know how many seconds were left.
25 to 30.
He should have never said that.
See? So I jinxed it.
He jinxed it. He jinxed it. I think in my heart that if he hadn't have said that, that wouldn't have happened.
Whoa, hey, wait, we might have to go to commercial. Hey, so see, this is how I know, this is how she full of it, right? This is how I know she full of it. Because the next season, she wanted me to watch the game. I said, no, I ain't watching no games with you because you blame me for them losing last year. Baby, I need your support. You need to be here with me. Right? So I said, no. I'm not at the game. I'm not watching the game whether they lose. She blames me. It's your fault because you were here to watch the game with me, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, so damn, whether I'm watching it or not, I'm going to be responsible for what happens, huh? So that's why I be trying to, I give her space when she's watching the game.
I forgive him. I forgive him.
She
forgive him.
She say that.
And
not.
I do enjoy when he's there watching the game with me, even though he talks super, super, super mad trash.
Yeah, and
he really does.
You know what? And the only reason I do it, is because I know that it bothers her. She gets really upset when I be talking trash about him. But I mean, I don't have an interest as far as who's gonna win or who's lose, but I always jump on her about it just to have fun.
I just thought that, like, I guess if you don't have a team. If you don't have a team, you shouldn't talk so much trash about somebody else's team.
That's the beauty of not having a team, because she can't come back and say, "Well, no, you don't have a team." Yeah, that's right. I don't have a team, so you can't say nothing about it.
But it's fun. It's all in fun. We have a great time. We laugh at the end of the day.
No.
At the end of the day, I'm gonna probably go to bed mad if my team loses.
Not always.
And I've cried. I've shed a lot of tears for the New Orleans Saints.
So let me ask you, because here's the thing. What I did try to impress upon her was I didn't want her to just be a team that a person who had a team who was like, hey, look, number 8 threw it to number 12. Look at number 12 run. Number 35 for the other team is trying to tackle him. That's really nice. I didn't want her to be that kind of fan. I wanted her to be knowledgeable. And I will say she is knowledgeable. So let's test her knowledge.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, so how's your O-line looking? Can you name 3 of the offensive linemen, at least 3?
So we have some new. Well, we have our first round pick from last year who got hurt, Trevor Penning.
Mm-hmm.
So
shout out.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He's a big guy. Hopefully he does some damage. Cesar Ruiz, who's a rookie from a couple of years ago, who's developed into a pretty good player.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Ramczyk.
Okay.
He's an old, yeah.
Okay, so that's 3.
Uh-huh.
So, well, I guess we don't really need to go into the running back, but
Oh, I can tell you who the running backs are.
Okay, who's the running backs?
So the number 1 running back is Alvin Kamara.
Is he playing? He playing that first game, right?
He's not playing for the first 3.
No.
He's suspended.
What? He got suspended?
You already know this.
What happened?
He just got into some trouble in Las Vegas.
Whoa. The same Vegas we were at?
Same Vegas we were at.
Did he get in trouble? Did he have heat exhaustion up in Vegas?
You know what? No, probably not.
Damn, I didn't know he got in
It
trouble.
involved some heat, but not that kind of heat. He was heated, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know he was. Oh,
so we got Alvin Kamara, and then we drafted Kendre Miller. He's new. And the one I'm most excited about is Jamal Williams. He came from the Lions. He's that like super nerdy anime guy, and he just has like the best personality, and I just can't wait for like the vibes on game day from all of them.
Yeah, I know what y'all thinking too. Yeah, it sounds like she crushing on him.
Not on Jamal.
Not on Jamal. Huh? She crushing on somebody, but not on Jamal. Hey, I'm securing mine. People. I'm good. All right, so how y'all wide receiver record?
So wide receiver is, it's good and it's questionable because, we got Michael Thomas, who's an amazing wide receiver, but has been off the field for like about 3 years. He hasn't played many games because he keeps getting hurt, different injuries, but he's good. He's looking good. Training camp has gone good, so keep our fingers crossed. But we do have that rookie from last year, Chris Olave.
Yeah.
He's about to be a beast.
It's about to be a beast.
He's about to be a beast. He is a bad boy. He really is. He's gained some weight. He's kind of fixed the things that he had issues with last season. So hope is high for him.
Hey, when she sits down and she's talking about somebody, she said he's a beast. Like she rocks in the seat like a little 9-year-old. He's a beast. All right, so let's move to the defensive side.
So defense?
I'm sorry. Still on offense. You got your tight end back, right?
Oh yeah, we did. We got our good old Jimmy Graham. He's back. He looks like he's ready to play. He didn't play last year, but he wants to be in the game. He said that he wants his dream was to come back to New Orleans, and he wants to be part of this team. So I really think that players that want to be with the team, those are players that they want to do good big things.
Other than Jimmy Graham.
So we got Jimmy Graham, we got Jawan Johnson, who's really good. And then we also have Foster Moreau, who came from the Raiders. Okay. And he's played with Derek Carr before, so I think he's going to be pretty good. And then you got good old Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
The gadget.
And so shout out to your team. You feeling Derek Carr?
So I'm a little conflicted with Derek Carr. I'm loving the fact that we have a real quarterback.
Whoa.
A real one.
Whoa.
Okay. Since Drew Brees, our team has been very unsettled at quarterback. We gave Jameis Winston a try, and as you know, I had high hopes for him.
Yeah, she loved us some James. I showed her she was like, well, I don't know. And what do you think? I said, yo, Jameis could throw that ball. I said, the problem with Jameis was the previous year, he threw it to the defense just as much as he threw it to the offense.
What I love about Jameis, though, he has a personality that it's something about him. He has so much joy, and he stayed with New Orleans even though things didn't go what they should have last year, because he said he just wants to be on this team, and you hear that from a lot of the players. Right.
So with Derek Carr, she was like, well, I don't know, and then so I had to show her some film, like, yo, hey, DC can throw that ball. Said he's had some really good years when he's had weapons and stuff, and he's looked good. So then she sees it, she's like, oh my God. And then I think what did it for her was when he did his, I don't know if it was introductory press conference or it was something where he was there and he had his wife and he had his 2 boys, and it reminded her of Drew Brees being on the field with his boys and his wife. So she was really feeling it, but I need to know what it is that you conflicted about.
So there's a big but right now, because I feel like he's like the scorned ex-boyfriend. There's just certain people that, you were in love with this person for so many years. You were in this great relationship. You couldn't picture yourself with anybody else for the rest of your life. And then you started to fight a little. There was just some turmoil in the relationship. Then she told you, you know what? I think it's best if you sleep on the couch. And then you're on the couch for a little bit. And then one day she says, you know what? I think you need to move out. And that's what I feel like the Raiders did to Derek Carr. And he's hurt. He's so hurt. So he comes to our team. We're the new girlfriend. He even said he looked at other teams. He wanted to be at the Saints because the Saints wanted him. But at every single interview he does, he always has to mention the Raiders, something about the Raiders. And so, is he still hung up on his ex? Is he going to give 100% to the new girl, or is he going to be thinking he's with the new girl, but he's still thinking about the ex? I have hope that maybe this is just the healing period. It takes a little while to get over it. Once he starts playing the game, you're with your new girl, you're going on new dates, you're meeting the family. I'm really hoping that this is just like a healing period. I think he's going to do good, though. I really honestly do.
I can't believe she just cycled everybody to say the new girlfriend. So, if you've ever been a new... everybody's been a new and probably a old at the same time. So, I guess I get it. But yeah, that was kind of what I was thinking when I was listening to his interview, and it just kind of was like, it kind of turned your head like, damn, like you sound like you still like. No, see, I can't say that because it's a family show, and I'm doing better on not being language and bad stuff. So I'm gonna leave it at there. All right, so let's move to your defense. How your defense feeling?
I feel like the defense is.
So give me a couple. Give me 3 people from your defensive line.
Cam Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
We have a new draft. Brian Brissy.
Okay.
And then we've got.
Brissy sounds like he Creole.
I don't know what he is, but he's a big dude. He is a big dude. And then we have we got a couple new players from other teams. Colin Saunders. He's from the Chiefs. So then
your linebacker core and your cornerbacks and safeties looking good.
Oh! When I say they're looking good, like that's an understatement.
So who your linebacker core?
The linebacker core. That's the one question I don't know.
You don't know who your linebackers are?
Demario Davis.
Okay, yeah, just give me 2.
Demario Davis and oh my God, my mind just went blank.
Oh, okay, we'll come back.
Yeah,
we'll come back. Hey, and look, real talk. She not looking at her phone or anything like that. Now, I'm this is real talk. I'm just asking her on the fly, and she's bringing these up on top of her head. So your cornerback.
Marshawn Lattimore.
Who's your other one?
And then we have 2. We have one that was a rookie from last year, Alante Taylor, and then we have Paulson Adebo. So they've been having this cornerback kind of competition.
Right.
Yeah, because they're both really good.
And it's good to be deep in that cornerback, backfield, especially with Lattimore, having issues in the past. So you want to be able to, because if you lose, one of them, if you lose Lattimore,
yes,
then your defense suffers.
And that's what happened last year.
Right.
Lattimore got hurt and he was out for about 5 or 6 games, and that's when those two kind of stepped in, which is good. We just actually drafted a linebacker. That's what his name is. I believe Jalen something. He's from the Giants.
Okay.
We didn't
draft
him. We signed him yesterday. Yeah.
Okay. See, she know the difference.
Yeah, we signed him
yesterday.
She
know the difference. And then your safeties.
The safety, Tyrann Mathieu.
Okay.
And there's a couple of new guys, and I haven't really kept up with that position with their names, but there's a couple of other new ones.
Okay. All right. So if you notice, she knows the shit a little bit about her team. Now I can't ask her about other teams because that's not her.
I know some players from some other teams.
But you can't go down the line the way you do because that's.
I could if you could quiz me on quarterbacks, I could probably name.
Yeah, I'm sure, but hell, who don't know about quarterbacks?
There's some people that don't.
Yeah, well, I just want to put it out there that I'm impressed because she'll be talking to me about it and. She got the apps and stuff, so sometimes I'll try to trick her and say, hey, sounds like the Saints signed Michael Jordan. He's coming out of retirement to play quarterback. And at first she'd be like, really? Where? But now she'd be like, man, you full of it. I know my team. I know what's going on. So I can't trick her like I used to. So just a couple of more questions. Let me ask you about the Saint games. How many games have you went to?
I think I've been to 3 Saints games.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, 3 Saints games.
Which one did you like the most?
The one in the Superdome.
The Superdome?
Superdome.
Why?
It's just like an electric place. You were there. The fandom is just something that you just can't explain. It's just electric. There's so much energy there. People are just so like friendly and welcoming, and everybody's like and high-fiving. And anytime you're in an environment with other Saints fans, I don't know, it just feels
like your family.
Yeah, it really does.
I know the word high because we were so damn high and watching the game. I was
high up. That is.
I had my hand on the ceiling. I was touching the ceiling.
We were in the nosebleeds.
No. We was in the concussion protocol place. But it was it was fun. And for me, I'm not really. I like to watch sports at home. So I can, enjoy watching different replays and different looks and stuff. But, seeing her joy brought me joy. Now, there were 2 other games she went to one because I didn't want to. I'm like, no, I don't want to go to that game. So they played the Rams. But then they played the Cardinals this last year. And I was able, say, okay, let's go. So we went, and it didn't go well up there, did it?
Started out so promising. I tell you, my team does this to me. It's like, we're going to go ahead and just bring out every emotion that you have.
So before the game, she was like, hey, Red Velvet, the Red Rocket, the Red Rifle. He's doing good. He's been doing good lately. Shit, after like that, third interception, she was like, they need to kick him off the team. He don't even need to be on the team.
Get Andy Dalton off of my team. I never wanted to see him play another game.
And I told her, I said, look, Andy Dalton used to be a starter for Cincinnati. He was a pretty
used to.
You get older.
Okay, I'm gonna give him that he's serviceable, but other than being serviceable,
he was really good. He was pretty good in Cincinnati. They made the playoffs a lot. They just never won a playoff game. But the funny thing about that is a friend of ours. Shout out to Chad Growth of Area Codes Basketball. He was there because he's in Phoenix, and he actually ended up taking care of us with some seats. So now I'm debating on whether to ask if she ready to leave because they getting blown out. like blown out, and now the Cardinals fans are pouring it on to the Saints fans, looking at it like, yeah, what y'all say? Who that? Who what? You know. So we ended up getting moved. We ended up being able to go down, and we got close to the end zone. We were like one row. No, we was the front row from the end zone.
Yeah, front row.
So, you know, that was really exciting for her because she got to see close and personal, you know, the players, the plays, the guys running in the end zone. We were closer to the side where the Saints were, so she got to see the Saints players and stuff. So I really enjoyed the fact that she enjoyed it. But like I tell her, you know, you can't keep asking me to go to no damn games. I'm not going to no games every year. And here is why. Full disclosure, folks, I have had a record. I was on a hot streak. I had picked the last 3 champions. When Tampa Bay won, I told her before the season Tampa is gonna win, and New Orleans gave it to them the two games. And she's like, "We can't. They're not gonna beat us. Tom Brady not gonna beat us because we didn't beat them twice." I said, "Yeah, but that's regular season." So when Tom Brady got in that ass in the playoffs and they won, she didn't talk to me for a while. So
yeah, that's his fault too.
She didn't talk to me for a while. So Tampa Bay won. Then the next season, when the Rams won, I called it for the beginning of the season. I said, I think the Rams are gonna win this year. They win. Then when Golden State win, I told them, I said, I think Golden State's gonna win this year. And they turned around and they won. Right? So then I said, look, the New Orleans Saints have everything you need to be a Super Bowl team. I think they're gonna win this year. And I wasn't the only one. What's his name? Not Brian. I don't know if it was Brian.
There was a lot of people.
There were a lot of people calling. There were their dark horse. I said the only thing is if Jameis doesn't throw the ball to the other team as much as he's done in the past, he's had a chance to play under the system. He should know, you know, do's and don'ts. He should be all right. Man, they came back and didn't even make the playoffs.
It was a depressing season.
Yeah, I was depressed because I picked their ass. So I told her from here on out, I'll never pick the Saints to win. I told her if they in the Super Bowl and they're up, and they're up by 40. It's 40-2, fourth quarter, 25 seconds left. I'm still not picking them to win.
I just told him that he picked the right team. It just wasn't the right year.
Yeah, okay.
So when they do win the Super Bowl, then we're going to celebrate that he picked them. It was just the wrong year.
No, I'm not going to celebrate nothing.
You know, sometimes fortune tellers, they those psychics, they'll say something's going to happen and it doesn't always happen right then, but you know, they saw it happening. Yeah.
So like.
No, I think you're right. The Saints are going to win the Super Bowl. It just wasn't last year.
So all of these teams that have fans that say this is our year, they're right. They just hadn't picked it the right name.
That's different.
So like the Cowboys are going to win coming up. They just like every year they say they're going to win. 49ers
okay, there's
win.
a difference between a fan of a team picking a team. They're always going to pick their team. But you are not a fan of a team. So you picked them.
I picked them last year.
You picked them last year. So you're like a psychic fortune teller.
Yeah,
and
right.
So your pick is going to come true. It's just going to be like a little bit further out than what you saw.
So remember this, because if they don't win this year, she going to say it's still my fault. She going to say it's your fault. You picked them 2 years ago and now they cursed.
And for the record, I did not blame him for how bad the Saints did this last season.
Hey, you know what it was? She wanted to, she just couldn't. She didn't have no way to tie my ass into a blame, you know. But she was like, sometimes she give me a look and fix her mouth like she's about to say it's your fault. But then it's like she's like, well, I can't really argue that in court, so I'm not gonna say it. Well, it has been a pleasure having you on, and maybe I'll have you on, you know, throughout the year as a bonus episode to talk about your Saints. We probably gonna have to, because we're gonna probably need to, you know, I'm gonna try to have her on when they win, and I'm gonna try to have her on when if they get their ass busted. just so y'all can hear what I be hearing.
I think maybe like a mid-season check-in.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, and if I say on the regular podcast, well, I was scheduled to have the lovely wife on for the mid-season podcast, but she declined. Then y'all already know the season.
No, that's one thing. I'm not one of those fans. If my team's doing bad, I'm gonna come on here and I'll be sad. I won't want to talk about it, but it's, sometimes they say in therapy, like, it's good to talk about things.
Yeah.
Kind of help you move forward. I might need to do a mid-season just to see.
Yeah. And what we need to do is you listen how her tone is. It's so nice and lovely as she's speaking her words. Mid-season, if they lose it, you're going to hear a lot of roughness and edge to her tone. She's going to be cursing and everything. Them mother... that son of a, all of that. We need to get rid of the coach and the coach's coach and everything. Oh yeah, that's how it's gonna be. That's how fans are. When they winning, it's great. When they lose, it's somebody else's fault. So I've enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed getting on here.
I sure did. It was great.
And I'm gonna leave it like I always do. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. I'm out.
Street cred sports, say it with your chest. Yeah. Go get it from the net. Street cred sports, okay, that's a bet.